Hey everyone, and welcome back to another LudoNarraCon game called Interstate 35, and it is a visual novel. So it's apparently like an apocalyptic Texas that we're gonna be going through, and let's just get into it because I think it's a pretty it's a fairly short game. I think I've said that Texas is a state of mind, but I think it is more than that. It is a mystic, closely approximating. Okay, whoop. Oh, I clicked the wump. 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 The truck rattles as the wheels strike cracks in the highway asphalt. The vibrations make their way up from the axles through the lower frame right into your gut. Each one feels like a punch to the stomach. In the front seat, Ames is talking. Do I choose what to click on? Cracks. Even with no traffic, I-35 gets worse every year. The aging is uncanny. You picture mouths opening up in the asphalt, tearing the roads apart, looking for rubber scraps and trickling motor oil, starving. The image, combined with the bumpy ride, makes you nauseous. As the thought lingers in you, a pit in your core, it calcifies, becomes real. This thought is rust. Oh, I thought maybe I could click rust. You're scavenger. Only you can decide what's worth keeping and what's worth throwing away. Will you keep this? Sure. Scavenge. Or tab to open the inventory and check out your haul. Tab. Course is memory. A side effect of time, not as useless as it appears. The hall between you and the apocalypse. I guess this is me. Okay. Games. See, that's the thing about apocalypses. They're slow, right? It's not that the world is ending, it's that it's already ended. We just haven't caught up yet, you know? Untended fields drift by outside the window. From your perch in the cramped back seat. Ooh, this is really loud. I think that's fine. Untended fields drift by outside the window. From your perch in the cramped back seat, you roll your eyes. He does this sometimes. Rants. You try not to listen. Spare me a philosophy lecture. Sipping from an insulated water bottle she picked up at a flea market on the south side of San Antonio. The exit's coming up. Just wondering if I can click on anything else. Come on, this shit's important. It's our life. Lori doesn't respond. She should know better if she thinks that'll shut Ames up. You lean forward and ask him if he has a point. What happens if I click on Ames? Like, I don't know if it's like different outcomes, but I'm gonna ask him if he has a point. I'm just wondering when we'll realize we're living through an epilogue. His voice is wide, somehow a physical thing pulling you close. You imagine the final seals opening. God chucking cluster bombs from heaven by a dozen to finish the job. Less revelations, a more cosmic foregone conclusion. Before you can make sense of the thought, Lori interjects. You paid attention? Our exit's coming up. Your attention shifts back to the road. It's barren, an emptiness only made bearable by how wide, how free it feels. They used to grow corn here, you think, or wheat? You were never a farm kid. Since then, the fields have been uprooted, crops replaced by miles upon miles of crabgrass and weeds, never growing high enough to obscure the horizon line. You remember making this drive with your mom before. You lose time staring at the natural gas rigs in the distance. They always They were always lit up, gleaming, the Emerald City hewn from steel to sweat. Now they're abandoned, like everything else north of the line, just dead metal. You wonder what happened to all that gas. You didn't answer me, Ames. You want action or what? Christ, yes. It's about a mile up. Lori grunts in reply. Wonder if we'll beat dusk. Maybe. Why? You afraid of the dark, girlie? You hate working at night, but you don't tell him so. Just like you don't tell him about the dread pooling in your throat every time you make this drive. Or how stupid he looks in that Hawaiian t-shirt. No, that's not what I'm afraid of. Well, don't worry. With the new counters we picked up, we're less likely to die from cancer than ever. Oh, wonderful. You run your hand over the glass window pane next to you. Painfully hot. You hate summers here. You feel like burning to death. Oh, dang. There's a lot of dialogue popped up. The term exit, in the case of the gravel nightmare Ames turns off on, is generous. After the bomb fell, the government set up checkpoints on the road to keep curious idiots from running to their death from radiation sickness. The checkpoints are abandoned now, but they still make the road damn near unpassable just south of Waco. This little detour is the answer people came up with. A repurposed old farm road, gravel laid out by hand to make it moderately more drivable. The ancient Chevy Ames calls, a truck cries out for help every time we have to drive it. The vibrations get worse. You brace yourself and swallow a hot bile spit, not to be outdone by the noise of the gravel. Ames begins to whistle. CCR Bad Moon Rising. Ames has never been subtle. Is that what he's singing? The busted to shit path winds down overgrown fields on its way to the dull little intersection outside of Waco proper. This is where the abandoned cars start showing up, all decked out in rust. Picture it. The bombs fall, but not enough for us to die. How do you think God feels about that? Maybe he fucked up the execution. Premature revelation. Every guy deals with it once or twice. Premature revelation. Yeah. Let's see. There was only the one bomb. A disaster isn't the same thing as the apocalypse. It's true, though. Says who? Says me. Oh, you know. Russia, Japan. What? It's an apocalypse just because it finally happened here? That's the point. It's all relative. It didn't start here. Maybe it started in Hiroshima or Chernobyl or fucking Rome. I don't know, but it did start. You let them argue it out. Their voices sizzle in the sun, and you breathe it in. The road lulls you into a stupor, half drunk on motion and stale air. You stay that way until the camp comes into view. Its presence rouses you, reaching between your collarbone and your heart and squeezing like a jolt from a pacemaker. The sun's setting behind it. Tongues of purple and pink haloing in it. Spotlight. You've arrived. Your legs tingle. Let me hit spotlight. What is this? The sky got bigger after it happened. It feels overwhelming, like a jaw made of star stuff closing shut over you. Hydrogen bombs are made of star stuff too. Okay, this insight is a set of house keys. Will you keep it? What if I just keep everything? You've arrived. You check your shitty watch, just short of 5 hours. Considering the state of the roads, you could do worse. This thought is a CD case. Will you keep this? Sure. I wonder what happens if I just keep everything. Like, is that going to change anything? You get out of the car, you take stock. Yeah, get out of the car. Before the accident, the camp was a football stadium built to the biggest, most expensive eyesore the local university could produce. You remember coming here once before to watch a game on alumni weekend with your mom. The parking lot was drowning in searing LED lights, so bright you felt like you could see through your own skin. The light's gentler now. Fire, candles, recycled Christmas lights, you prefer it. This memory is a compass, arrows, and cracked glass. Will you keep this? Sure. Later, it was converted into a refugee camp, and from there, it became what it is now. Somewhere between a tent city and rest stop, a space for autonomous self-governance and overwhelming self-delusion. Okay, so for these highlighted ones, you can click them to choose if you want to keep some item or whatever. I didn't know that. Because Ames's name was highlighted a few passages back, and I didn't click on that. So I don't know what item he had. Home away from home, Ames says, locking the pickup doors as you stretch feeling back into your thighs. You wouldn't say that, but it's close enough. Let's go. You look around. Bonfires are scattered around the massive parking lot and its surrounding streets, their sizzling added to the wet heat of Texas dusk. Small groups of people eat, chat, gather, and secure equipment. Let's cook bonfires. The electric grid stopped working ages ago. Either the EMP or decay, you don't know which. The government promised to fix things, but the National Guard was more interested in keeping people away than helping the ones still here. Memory is a pair of worn leather gloves. Alright, parking lot. The scale of the lots always made you feel like a child. Now with the broken parking lots rendered into so many footpaths, they remind you of one of those national cemetery obelisks of the dead going on for miles. Battery acid. Will you keep this? Sure. Keeping everything. You've been here so many times and you barely know anyone. You never were a joiner. This insight is a leaflet. The words faded by rain. Keep it. Okay, I think that's it. Paying you Ames no heed, Lori rushes off, her head held high. Purpose in her steps. Off to get the deets on some side gig, probably. Lori always struck you as too ambitious for her own good, taking jobs as close to ground zero as she could get. She practically lived up there. One of these days, it'll get her killed. His feeling is a statuette, hewn from rubble. Keep this. You hesitate, overwhelmed. Ames glances at you, fitting a warm Texas Ranger baseball cap to his head. You know, I don't think she likes me. Maybe if you didn't talk so goddamn much. That's something I would say. He laughs. What am I supposed to do? The two of you barely talk at all. Proving this point, you say nothing. You cast a glance to the truck, the core of your livelihood. Even with it locked, you worry about it. Ames doesn't seem to notice. Honestly, I'm not even sure why she hangs around us. The money. You can find more salvage with a group than you can alone. Smile. Besides, you add, we're good at what we do. You let yourself smile. It feels like an invasion on your teeth. Your discomfort is a plague mask. The better to hide with. It's a possibility. He strolls forward toward the stadium. You follow at his side. Ready for another run, girly? I guess. Honestly, I'm not sure why I do this anymore after the last job. What am I even looking for? That depends. You looking to die? Tell the truth. Maybe. I don't know. Smoothing out the bill of his cap, he nearly grins. You wouldn't be the first to go up there to burn to death. This puts pause to your racing mind. Let's click on this. You hear a dark mischief in his voice when he speaks next, like he enjoys nihilism flavor on his tongue. The image becomes a diamond in your mind, covered in dust. Sure. I think maybe I'm still trying to make this make sense. The explanation feels alien to you, even as it leaves your mouth. You don't feel like you have agency to try anything. You're a passenger. Well, you might want to keep looking, he says. There's nothing up there but radiation, corpses, and all the copper wire money can buy. No sense to be found. You walk on. Interlude. Fire. They said it was an accident. Technical failure. I read the report online once. A sleepless night on a muggy porch. Dogged by June bugs and fireflies. A test flight that was erroneously sent out with a real payload. Machines that were supposed to stop, but didn't. No one individual culpable. No one failure responsible. A systematic issue. A 4-mile circle of Dallas was flattened. Fallout spreading across the entire metro. I remember urban planners predicted that in a few decades, Dallas and Fort Worth would be one large city, a vast metropolis of glittering lights and decorative longhorns. In the end, there was only one light. A few 100,000 dead, more sick, or getting sicker. The entirety of North Texas evacuated and left to rot on the roadside. Jeez. I was touring colleges when it happened. I never went. I settled south, a couple 100 miles from the edge of the disaster, flitting around it like a firefly, drawn out into the night, waiting for fall to come. You wander into the decrepit old stadium, your mind a haze. A winding labyrinth of metal, once populated by fans and athletes, is now a home, storage space, and hubs of life, a hive for the displaced and the obsessed. It buzzes, constantly awake, constantly working. Ames leads you through the caverns. These caverns used to be fully utilitarian, brutalist maze of concession stands, meeting rooms, parking garages. Now it's covered in murals, pockmarked with businesses and homesteads and hotels. Businesses. You met Lori for the first time in one of those places months ago. A bar carved out of an old storage area right at ground level. You had both been drinking too much. You exchanged your lists of the dead, and Ames came asking after a job. Same old story. Your memory is a full notebook. Indecipherable. Will you keep this? Sure. It's strange. You think something about the density of life here. The new construction built upon the old makes this place feel more natural than man-made, like a forest. Like a rainforest. Layers of new living, built upon the strata of the dead. Ames pauses, nods at someone you've never seen before. A few feet away, he strikes up a conversation with a friendly abuela hawking handmade bags. You wonder if he's worked for her before, or if he really does just know everyone. It's slow going. Eventually you find your way out from the concrete warrens onto the field. Might be a bit. Got some people I want to catch up with. You don't want company? Hell am I supposed to do then? Well, maybe we can just go with. Like, you actually want to come, he shrugs, turning out towards the wider stadium like he owns the place. Just kill time till I'm gone. I'll get you when I'm ready to see the client. He's right. You don't want to come, but an invitation still would have been nice. You look around. You step onto the field. The turf has been dug out, replaced by dirt and grass and trees. On the far edge of the field, small plots have been tilled, food grown for those brave enough to eat it. Through the canopy of branches and handmade quilts, you see flickers of starlight move with the camp's rhythm. Silently, you wander the veins and arteries of the camp like a fleck of loose iron. You knew this place a long time ago, but the place you knew is as dead as your mother. You don't miss it, even if the bubbling pressure of this new organism overwhelms you. If you're being honest with yourself, you know you're a tourist here. The life you eke out isn't sumptuous, but it's the life of cities and normalcy. When this is over, you'll go home until the next excursion. A tourist. If you're being less honest, you prefer pilgrim. The word pricks something in you. What was that about being a foreigner, strangers and sojourners? Something Peter said? You don't remember. Your mind is a graveyard of Bible verses. Your shame is hot water. Sure. I like hot water. Sweat runs thick down your brow. Now onto your nose, the smell of your own body mingling with everyone else's. There's nothing but intimacy here. You browse food stalls, your stomach nearly as empty as your wallet. You pick up stray bits of conversations here and there. Your family's still up in Kansas? How much for the burrito again? You wouldn't believe what I saw on the side of I-20 last year when You catch reminiscing, some begging, a preacher or two drawn to orbit around Ames's apocalypse. Here in the cleft of its edge, someone offers you a beer. You take it, sipping from the glass bottle while Junebugs circle the torchlight. You surrender. Sensations blend together. Oh, the gargling voice of a Geiger counter. Its owner. Oh. A warm, bare shoulder bumping yours on its owner squeezes past. Barbacoa and beans simmering outside. A tarpaulin-made tent. Cigarillo smoke. An unctuous breath of weed. Voices. Voices everywhere. Most of the voices are living, some of them are in your head. Ames greeting strangers and friends alike, offering borrowed wisdom to whoever pays him attention and promising to repay debts long since given up on. Your mother, cheering and drunk, and the old shadow of yourself, exploring the concrete hallways, spiderwebbing beneath the stadium, hoping to get lost, to find a new pathway to disappear into. You hear prayers to the god in the hum, the god in the invisible decay, the floating death. To the faithful, ground zero is an exclusion zone of divine absence, liberation through pure violence. You never understood it until you stood there yourself, as close to the wreckage as your body could take you without combusting from the inside out. A city so clearly dead, yet so cruelly alive, luxuriating in poison. Behold, I am the resurrection of the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And he whoso believeth in me and lives shall never die. The promise of renewal still burning, an unending firestorm. Radiation be damned. You meet your contact at what you'd guess is the 40-yard line. Home team. Your jobs are simple usually. Someone wants you to find something in the irradiated ruins and you go and find it. You're always surprised at what people will pay for, what magic and mystery they attach to anything in the blast radius. It's a whole cottage industry, perfect for people like you and Ames, whose futures burned up in the mushroom cloud. The two of you so clear in your mind, fireflies. Will you keep this? Sure. Her tent is small but well built, a snake of a home coiled in on itself. Homemade incense scratches your nostrils, its vague burning mixing with the smoke of flickering candlelight. The furniture is a combination of scavenged and homemade. The carefully woven fractal patterns in the rug, somehow complemented perfectly by the rust gathering on a lone folding chair. From the tent's entrance, you see Matra leaning over a low table, particle board with a blanket over it. She sips tea from an incongruously immaculate porcelain mug. Odd crafts line the table, a coil of handmade necklace, some candles, a few charms. You're not sure if she's selling them or if they mean something to her, or both. The scene settles in your mind, taking shape. Pressed flowers. Will you keep this? Scavenge. You meet your okay, so that's just the same thing. Okay. She sits on a folding chair, amber flecks shining in her eyes. She says her name is Matcha, and she invites you in. Ames greets her and she nods at him before urging you both to take a seat on hand embroidered pillows. When she starts talking, she turns towards you. It took me years for me to get the money together. Thank you for coming. You shift uncomfortably, biting the inside of your cheek. Clients don't normally talk to you. Biting. A bloody, nervous habit. The pain of a sewing needle. Chiseled sharp. Will you keep this? You can take charge, or you can demur. You can take charge. You can smile. You smile at her, stealing yourself from more talking than you expected. She smiles back patiently. Patient, missing the fact that yours doesn't quite reach your eyes. Let's see. Of course, so what's the job? So what's the job exactly? Ames asked, interrupting you before you can get the words out. You swallow your frustration and Matra slides a napkin across the table. Or Marta. I keep saying Matra. Marta. You grab it before Ames gets the chance, showing it to him only after glancing at yourself. It's a map. You and Ames pour over. You see the break in thin black ink where I-35 splits into east and west. Along the western route, you see a tiny dot, an exit number written beside it, followed by barely legible arrows and lines leading away from the highway. You squint at it. Recognition a siren behind your eyes. You look back up at Marta. If Marta notices your unease, she doesn't show it. It's a church. I used to go there every Sunday with my husband and my daughter. You know the crack in her voice. That's the thing about living in the shadow of the lost. Each flicker of the light tears the wound open. Wait for her to compose herself. She takes a deep breath, sipping from her tea. The silence is long and ugly, and you feel like an asshole. Finally, she continues. The last time we were there, I forgot it. My scriptures. It's still there, I'm sure of it. If I could, I'd go myself, but... She looks at you again, searching. You don't know what she wants to find. Your heart pulses. You think of lightning. Her gaze stays fixed upon you. What is she looking for? Reassurance? Your services aren't expensive. You can't fucking afford to be expensive. But for her, the three of you are probably worth a fortune and a half. Maybe she just wants to know if you're worth it. You really think it's still there? Ames cuts in. Hate to break it to you, lady, but paper, the apocalypse, they don't mix well. You and Ames exchange a knowing look. You can tell from Ames's eyes something about this doesn't sit right with him either. You wonder if he feels what you feel, or if he's just worried about the paycheck. People aren't generous when you show up empty-handed. You examine Marta again. Her olive skin, her wrinkles, the sadness in her brow. It nags at you like a word on the tip of your tongue. It's there, she says. I dream of it every so often. I see deer in the parking lot, peeling paint on the side stairs. Her eyes snap closed, her voice fast and sure. Pastor's old car is still there too. White hot light in the cracked mirrors, maggots in the tires. She smirks, her voice low. The service never ended. Her sudden intensity makes you shudder, and then it's gone. She gives you that sad look again. Your mouth moves before your mind, all surety, a stranger between your teeth. We'll look, you say. If it's there, we'll bring it back to you. Thank you. Taking in the pale glow of your face, you wonder again if she recognizes you, if you recognize her. By the time you leave, you're convinced she does. Ames handles the rest. Logistics, timetable, payment, normal terms, half now, half later. You excuse yourself, motion sickness, you say. It was a long drive. You wait outside. The incense is down to its dregs by the time the deal is done. All you smell is burning. You look at your watch, nearly 1 in the morning. Ames taps you on the shoulder as he steps out of the tent. She wants to see you again. You just go in. As you crouch low to enter the tent one more time, a glint catches your eye from the stars, like a blessing. Fine. What is it, you ask? You hope you don't sound as impatient as you feel. If you do, Marta makes no indication. Your partner spoke to me about payment. I had to give a deposit, and I wanted to ask you for something in return. My own deposit of sorts. You sit again, ignoring a cramp in your thigh. A deposit? Yes, a gift. Think of it as a token of trust. She acts like this is reasonable, like you should intuitively understand. You don't, but you play along. What sort of gift? She smiles, her hands sweeping wide in open possibility space. Whatever you feel is best. It will be informative. A truth? Sure. You find it between your teeth where your tongue worries the incisor smooth. Worries the incisor smooth. You tell her you've been there, to the church she's sending you. You know it. You walked those halls, painted those rusted stairs. Marta smiles. That fellowship was my home for many, many years. Was it good to you? More than you realized. It seems to please her. I'm sorry I don't recognize you. One question at least answered. You tell her that people usually don't. The moment ends warmly. Take care where you're going. The word says that when his time comes, the old flesh will die and the new will take hold. Metroplex? Is this that new flesh? The idea makes you nauseous. Nuclear transubstantiation. Open sores and burned skies. Well, rolling the idea back and forth in her mind, like she's sucking on a pond stone. It's certainly not the old. Finally time to go. You don't remember the walk out of the makeshift door or the trek back across the field. You okay? Ames asks as you make your way to the truck where Lori is waiting, a homemade churro in her offhand. You seem spooked. Answer him. Yeah, just wasn't expecting to go home today. Interlude, spirit. I started going to church because I was scared. I was in middle school. I asked a girl to dance. She asked if I was a Christian. When I said no, she told me I was going to hell. And I believed her. I never felt like I belonged there. Not really. I was too awkward, too quiet, too unknowingly queer. But I loved the place. I loved the singing. I loved the warm voices. I loved the ritual, the words. I fell in love with the color red, with songs written hundreds of years ago by men who would not know what to make of the shape of me. I never stopped being scared, but I stopped being scared of hell. I was taught that God no longer exists in any temple, that he is within us still. I can't help but wonder about what happens when you burn down all those churches, when you send an entire city's worth of worship adrift in irradiated waters. Maybe God is adrift too. Maybe God isn't someone you want to set loose. Silence gnaws at the three of you as you drive past the last checkpoint. I-35 splits somewhere in the rear view. You took west, following the old woman's map towards home. Everything north of here is what wildlands, ground zero, the zone, whatever the hell you want to call it, the remains. The remains. The drive is smooth up here. The military cleaned up all the cars years ago, probably cut them down for scrap. This won't last. In a half an hour or so, the roads will start falling apart and you'll need to hoof it. Your anticipation is spray paint. Would you keep it? Despite everything, you relish the silence. As Ames' truck slowly burrows its way under the skin of disaster area, the three of you turn on your counters. For now, they're gentle, quiet, babbling brooks as bad omens. Ugly little gadgets wrapped in yellow plastic. Ames insists that they're state-of-the-art, but you doubt it. You carry yours in the front pocket, your outer layer, next to the clip-on flashlight. Before the flash, you always imagined nuclear fallout would be tangible somehow, that there would be a sign. The absence is so much worse. Only the crackles of these rickety machines tells you anything at all. Your dread is a bottle of fingernails rattling in your hands. Will you keep this? You pull your mask and hood tight. Sweat already chafes you beneath the layers of ratty clothing that serves as protection gear. Even with the sun down, it's a scorcher. Finally, it's Lori who breaks the peace. You know how bad an idea this is, right? In the back seat, you sigh inaudibly. It's always a bad idea, the smirk in his voice right where he left it. This whole job is a bad idea. No one sane does what we're doing. No, stop wiping cinnamon sugar off her chapped lips. No, Lori says, wiping cinnamon sugar off her chapped lips. Do you know which direction the wind was blowing? Give her some chapstick. She's the only one of you not wearing a face cover. But listening to Ames isn't exactly a habit of hers. Your unease is a Walkman, forced into silence. Will you keep this? When? He shoots back. Don't be fucking obtuse. You know when. Yes, you know. South by Southwest, it cut a cleft down through the metro into West Texas, Mexico, down the Pacific. Only then finally settled, dispersing. One long exhalation of breath. Yes, you know. The fallout. That's the job. She's paying well. 6 months rent for each of us, at least. At this point, does it matter about money? Like, everything's fucked and you're still worrying about money and paying rent and shit? I'd be like, hell no. I'll just like I'll fuck off somewhere and just live on the land, you know? Probably doesn't even know what she's asking. Listen, even if we're fine for now, we might not be in a year or 2 or 5. She knows that's how much she wants it. What do you care? You don't even wear a fucking mask when we go out. Road roars outside the window and Lori raises her voice over it. A respirator isn't going to stop ionizing fucking radiation, Ames. Fuck off with that. You wonder where this reluctance was an hour ago when turning back was still a possibility, when the world outside of this one was real. What should we do then? Turn back? Lori shakes her head. Reedy hair all in piles. I don't know. Go home? Get a real job? She stopped short. Then her voice brittle. Cracked glass. I guess that's not an option for us, is it? Look, I know where I'm going when all of this is through. Doesn't mean I want you to come with me. You have nothing to say to that. We done? Filling the gulf Lori created. He doesn't wait for an answer. Good. Now check your gear. It's almost time. He adjusts the fit on his mask. Time passes. Every moment home draws closer in the window, and you feel helpless to stop its approach. Like everything after the flash, the cleanup effort here was doomed before it started. They drowned as much as the Metroplex as they could in water, trying to wash radioactive dust off buildings, but mostly just poisoning the water supply. They slaughtered livestock, burned crops, tried to sterilize this place, cauterize it like a wound it was. Then they left. Now it belongs to you, to the dead, and to the memory of the light. Get off here, you say. The exit's coming up. You weren't looking at Marta's map. You don't need it. After that, take a right and be ready to turn again soon. Easy to miss the road. Ames follows your directions without a word. It's almost 3 a.m. now. The freeway fades into the rear view, and the three of you chart a course into the irradiated wilderness of the Metroplex. Your moods are starting to fray. You sit in the back, feet tapping a tempo on the weathered floor. Lori leans against the passenger window, watching the stars roll past, licking churro bits off her fingers, then biting the nails beneath. You should have waited for first light, but Ames was insistent. Not that you blame him, really. The unspoken mantra you've all lived by since the flash: never ever stay still. This conviction is charred rubber. Will you keep this? At your direction, Ames turns at the dead light. An overgrown farm road takes you over train tracks into the main drag of a small town, just south of the city. You know this place: grocery store, McDonald's, corner store, donut shop, almost comforting. You can practically hear the radio crackle as your mom drives you to school. Evening motion sickness still clings to your throat. You swallow it down. Even if you don't know this place, it's not how you remember it. The arid grasslands of North Texas has been replaced by something stranger. Water pools and collapsed roadways, natural gas from the Barnett sloughs flows from the abandoned taps, billowing like fog. Trinity River is flooded, the dam moldering. The sewer mouth overflows. The highway crumbles. New inhabitants bloom from the cracks left unpatched by the old. Your Geiger counter raises its voice, and Ames pushes the truck to two narrow, winding sapling reach towards the road, its obsidian black branches starting to grow fresh leaves. The crackle's a reminder this place is alive, and not for you. When the path becomes too overgrown and flooded to drive, Ames parks near a high school. The neatly kept trees and grassy island that used to frame the red brick buildings have spread out in all directions, weed and wild growth strewn over the pavement like fallen streetlights. The hums and yowls of animal life gnaw at the otherwise engulfing silence, the nearly infinite dark. Jesus, a lot of fucking talking. Oh my god, it's the most I've ever talked in my life. You knew this place. The memory is a brittle carabiner? I don't know what that word. Leaving the truck on, he gets out, heading to bed and checking his gear by the glow of the headlights. Bolt cutters, lockpicks, knives, wire strippers for copper. You can always get a few bucks for that. Empty canvas bags for the haul. Ames's AR-15, which he will insist piece for piece before slinging over his free shoulder. When he's done, he returns to turn off the truck, pocketing the keys. Your knowledge of Ames here in your own personal apocalypse is a fifth of whiskey. Will you keep it? You nod to yourself, giving Marta's map one final glance before stuffing it into your pocket. It's time to go. Water's getting choppy, kids. I'm gonna have to go on foot from here. He tries to make his voice sound breezy. Maybe Lori buys it, but you've known him too long. His unease settles into you, spreading. Just one more invisible poison to add to the list. You climb out of the pickup. You test the feel of the earth beneath your shoes as three clip-on flashlights open their eyes. The last few miles are a hike. You have to choose your path carefully. The water's all radioactive, and little hotspots are everywhere. It's a labyrinth. One deliberate step at a time, the three of you pick quietly through the vacant skeleton of your hometown. You hear the howls of coyotes, 3 pairs of footsteps, and your own breathing, nothing else. The world around you comes into focus in pieces. Placid lakes of Lori's eyes, Ames all goggles, that dumbass American flag bandana you gave him, a family of raccoons sitting through the shattered glass remains of the dollar store entryway looking for food. Have you been here before? Hard to remember. It was his birthday and you've both been drinking too much. You told him you found it in the ruins of a gift shop south of Cowboy Stadium. Gave it to him after washing it a few times to get rid of any lingering particulate. I hate you, he told you. I hate this so much. Oh, I hate it, he told you. I hate this so much. This is the worst thing anyone has ever gotten me, ever. I hate it and I hate you. He hasn't taken it off since. Your friend's barely hidden delight is musical in your memory. A keyboard. Keep going. Amidst the ruins you struggle to focus. Oh, it's talking.
The danger is sometimes physical, usually psychological, very occasionally metaphysical. Wild dogs? Sure. Other scavengers? Maybe. The ambient radiation slowly replacing cells with shattered and shattering faders. Absolutely. But it's the desolation that does you in. It's not normal to be near this kind of desolation. It's not natural. The knowledge of the destruction, the scale of the loss, finds its way into the air, into the wall of every building, into the bark of every tree. 100 years ago, the scale of it would have been impossible. It still should. It can't be real. It's a joke, a threat, an idea. But there it is. As whole, the desolation watches you, and you watch it, and you pace circles around each other like fighters in a ring, waiting for someone to make the first win. Along the way, you steal some of the desolation's treasures, and, if you're lucky, you come back without bleeding.
Okay, well I guess it's done narrating. Which way? Right. Down the street, past a Walmart, through a neighborhood. Three of you walk in jagged lines, trying to mollify your Geiger counters. Can't stop now. Student neighborhood. Houses look like wide open mouths missing their teeth. The image is a chain. You remember an excursion in cranberry thickets filled with dead rodents and birds of prey, all gathered together, decaying like a mass grave. That's not how radiation sickness works, is it? Couldn't be. This is a version of home that will never fully make sense to you, so you focus on the counters. Keep them quiet. Keep yourself safe. You just have to focus. You turn your commitment over in your mind, a wedding ring that will never fit. Scavenge. Okay, let's see. Can't stop now. The heat hits you in waves. You suck on your own saliva and pretend it's ice. You breathe low, humidity gathering against your mask. You lick your already wet lips and take a left at the next major intersection, crossing the street beneath the rusted signal light in some goofy pantomime of the past. As you cross under it, a street light flickers, on then off, again. Ames freezes, lifts a free hand and a fist, the universal sign for stop. The light flickers again, this time for longer, accompanied by an electrical murmur in the air. The fuck? Ames brings the AR-15 to attention. Uh-oh. Your mind swims, equal parts fear and confusion. You don't move. Ames creeps forward on light feet, looking around, leading with the muzzle of his gun. The light flicks on again, staying that way for about 10 seconds before going off. Electrical hum lingers for a split second, like a signature. Lori takes a step toward the light. You don't. Anybody see anything? The light above you continues its cadence, on and then off, each wink of illumination slightly longer than the last. Looks clear to me, but shit. Could the power still be working? Maybe someone hooked up a generator. Maybe, fitting around the light, vaguely angelic. This is a weird place sometimes. Sometimes what? Things just happen? Not a chance I'm willing to take. You two go on ahead. I'm going to circle back, check for activity, then I'll head to the truck, make sure it's secure. The implication is clear. Without the truck, you're all marooned here. It needs protection more than you do. Still, this is a bad idea. You can tell them. To stick together, you can let them stick together. Seriously, if we have company, shouldn't the guy with the gun stay with the pack? He stares you down. When's the last time you saw a streetlight turn on in this city? You don't answer. Right, neither of you have anything of value anyway. The truck, on the other hand, he tosses you a quick wave, taps his ear as if to say, call me if you need me, then disappears into the night. You find Lori, staring up at an impossible streetlight. She watches the light, indifferent to Ames's departure. She keeps watching. Well, what do you think? Your question hangs in the dead air. The light flicks off, stays that way. After a moment, Lori takes a half step towards you, her eyes still up at the light bulb. You know the way, right? You look around. Nothing. No one. Not even a breeze. You just saw the street light, but it already feels like a shared hallucination. A dead man's gasping for air. Yeah, you say, your voice hushed, as if you're trying not to wake something sleeping under the sidewalk. Try to keep up. With Ames gone, neither of you quite knows how to approach the other. You walk side by side, over potholes, around creeks, wordless until Lori starts talking. You've been here before. It doesn't come out as a question. You're not sure whether to tell the truth or avoid. Just tell the truth. We've been telling the truth, so we'll just stick to that. Yeah, before. She nods, tasting the polluted air. You step around an old car, driven up onto the sidewalk. An American Girl doll languishingly in the passenger seat, its head missing. Lori tells you a story. It's strange up here. Once on a run up north of Ground Zero, I saw someone watching me from a doorway. Old grocery store, I think. Half covered in shadow, stock still. Went to check them out, tell them to fuck off, but as soon as I got closer, I saw they were wearing the same shoes as me. Same pants, too. Not just the same brand or design or whatever, exactly the same. You say you saw yourself? You listen. Let's just let her talk. Before I could see her face, I heard something, a crash down the block. Jumped at it, turned around, looked. When I looked back, she was gone. She sounded pleased with her story, like it had a tidy moral, a haunting fable. Is that why you came here, to find yourself? Don't know, it's like, have you ever heard of Jerusalem syndrome? It's made up, probably. But it's the idea that people will go to these holy places and they'll go crazy, have religious delusions, think they're Jesus or whatever the fuck. This again? First Marta, now Lori? So what, you're saying this place is holy? She steps in front of you and turns, a neat 180 degree twist on her heels for effect. She shrugs. So nothing. They go home. She turns back, keeps walking. You recognize the road under your feet. Know the old bumps. Now with too much company, you're close. Okay, your turn. Your turn for a memory or for silence, madness, faith. You feel the inevitable creeping up on you. Garo? Up for your throat. Just tell her a story. Once your mom used to drive you to school down this road. Pink and yellow dawn light in your eyes, wet hair and smell of shampoo in your face. She never stopped talking, babbling. You didn't understand exactly what it was to her. But she'd regale you with horrors, all the worst things she'd heard on the news that morning or the night past, like she wanted you to know just how dangerous the world was. You spent so much of your life trapped in cars, listening. Confess. You would get out of the car every morning, head to first period, and think about punching your mom in the face. Jeez. The last time you drove with her, it was far from here. Then you told her the truth. You wanted to go alone. If that didn't happen, you wouldn't be here now. Maybe not. Let the moment pass. As you keep walking, memories thicken. A vicious coating over the realm of your senses. You try to focus your unease on the fact that you may not be alone out here. On the real possibility of danger, but you can't make your mind stay put. Take a left here and you'd be in stone throwing distance of an old friend's home. You take a right. A signal light, a final turn. You pass the last rows of houses. Another endless step into the march of dead suburbs. Just as you arrive, Lori grows quiet, her eyes thin in your peripheral vision. You go on ahead. Some of these houses don't look so worked over. Gonna check them for scrap. She doesn't give you time to object. Your jaw moves wordlessly as you watch her walk away, flickering candle holding back the weight of the night. Focus. It's time. Beloved. Take stock. Go home. Go home. It's just like you remember it. You pull your flashlight off your chest and use it to scan the church. Two-story buildings flanking two sides of a gravel parking lot. The place is small, too small, barely big enough to hold a congregation with enough tithes to pay the electric bill. No steeple, no standing cross. Could be a community center or an ugly pair of houses, if not for the rotting church sign on the other end of the lot. Rotting church sign. Purple and white, the words in big black letters, behold, I will make all things new. Wasn't lying. Your feelings are a television remote peeking up from the grass at your feet. Will you keep this? Come closer. The preacher's car sits in his spot by the sanctuary door, just like Marta said. Oh, I tried clicking it. It didn't go. The wizened old man, bald and round, he would give you a ride home sometime. The drive was about 20 minutes long, and he would chat amiably or stay silent. Homogeneous din of Christian radio in the background. Your faith may have withered on the vine, but you miss the old man. You could almost smell his aftershave. Memory is a firestorm, the threat of damnation. I'm just keeping everything. Only the broken windows and knee-high grass indicate that any time has passed since you were last here. The unnerving feeling like stepping on an unexpected patch of ice. Alright, you tell yourself, get to work. Let's click this. More and more you find yourself thinking about the flash like this. Falling sheets of radioactive amber fossilizing everything they touch. A truth that makes your Geiger counter crackle louder in sympathy. In your imagination, the air around you turns a brilliant toxic green, intermingled with the maple brown of frozen time. You breathe the thick poison in. There's nothing else you can possibly do. Your resignation is a colander, leaking radioactive water. Sure. Let's see. Check the sanctuary, I guess. The doorway into the sanctuary is boarded up, the wood partly rotted but looking surprisingly sturdy. You find a board that looks particularly water damaged and tug at it, using your knife as a pry tool. It moves. Good. You can get this open with some effort. If Marta's telling was right, this is your destination. Are you ready to go in? Enter. Your knife sinks into the wood with little resistance and you snap a board off. Beneath the top layer is glass and more plywood. You nearly cut yourself, but you get enough off of it to pop the door permanently open. You're met with the smell of dust and fresh water. You hear pops in the distance, 3 of them, evenly timed. Uh-oh, someone shooting? Gunshots. Aims? You better hurry. Your bag catches as you try to push through the door. It's too big. You drop it quickly, the worn canvas flopping onto the concrete. You unzip it one sweaty hand. You study it, your haul, all of it somehow precious. You can take some of it with you in the smaller bag on your hip, just in case. No turning back. You know this lesson. Some things have to be left behind. So you choose. You can take up to 3 things with you. Open the inventory and press yeah. Only you will know what you choose. What will you keep? Choose and enter the church when you're ready. Okay, what am I gonna keep? Can I read it before? Battery acid. Is that rust leaflet? Statuette. Plague mask. Every page used. When did I get a diamond? Press flowers. Sewing needle. Walkman. Fingernails. Spray paint. Can I... How do I click to keep it? To pick an item. Okay, I want that. Fit the whiskey. I want that. Let's see. Let's see. Hand this to the angels on your way out. Sure. That's 3 things, right? Yep. Enter. The preacher's office is pristine, brightly lit and full of books. The air conditioner wheezes constantly as he speaks in and out, wet and slow, trying to cough up a late summer swelter. You love to linger in this place. It feels learned, alive. It feels... From behind your flashlight, the emptiness of the preacher's office is startling. As always, it's the first thing you see, nearly at the entrance, just to your left upon walking through the entry threshold. Who would stand here after every service, shaking hands, making conversation, giving blessings? Now a dozen books lay spread eagle on the floor. Pages yellow, tattered. Biographies of Jesus, commentaries on the letters to the Hebrew. There's nothing for you here. You step all the way in. Do you know what this means? The preacher's deep baritone makes its way into your gut. That's correct. Baptism cannot save you. Baptism is a symbol of our commitment to the Lord, which exists in our hearts. It's a celebration. He beckons you closer, inviting you to look at a piece of paper on his desk, a certificate for your membership in the church. You are 16. There are limits to what you understand. You're 25 and you take another right into the sanctuary. Despite the lingering heat, you're shivering. The sweat shivers of sickness in your shoulders, on your neck. The sanctuary is small and cavernous all at once. In front of you, on the far wall, you see where the computer used to be. Indents in the carpet and music equipment next to it. You keep walking. You used to run both a few identities ago. Helping the service, tech-savvy teen to save the day. There's nothing for you. Nothing to take. What are you looking for? coming up to the pews. You know everyone here once. Did you know Marta? Even if you did, of course she wouldn't recognize you. Too much has changed in you. But the uncertainty is destabilizing, as if you're seeing your life spread out before you like bundles of cloth hanging from tree branches. Are you ready? You're wearing a white. You had to find the clothes for this, a white undershirt, a white shorts beneath a white gown provided by the church. The uniform required strikes you as silly, but it fits the ambiance. Your brother is there. Your sister? Your mother repeats the question, her hands reed of straw hanging at her side. Are you ready? You blink at your mother, the morning suddenly blinding. You're not sure why she's there. You tell her you miss her. The sanctuary is barren and musty, the air is stifling and wet. The velour carpet between the pews is covered with deep black stains, some of them sprouting mold. A roof leak, you'd guess. Amazing that so much water would survive this heat. You check your counter. It's getting fussy, but you can't remember what the precise numbers mean. The sound blends with your heartbeat, drumming your ears. Tachycardia. Marta's directions were clear. Forward. Past the pew where your best friend sat every weekend. Past the pew where the girl you had a crush on, the girl you came here for the first place, sat until she didn't. Past the memory of the woman who could never remember your name. Who would just call you with loving distance pal. The second pew from the front, not far from the pulpit. Toppled over by slow weathering or clumsy looters, you spare a moment for the indignity. You're more professional than that. There, near a clumped jacket and a hymnal. Marta's book is relatively untouched. The cover is green leather and it's thin, too thin to be a full Bible. You flip the first pages and your suspicions are confirmed, just a New Testament. You had one like this once. Pastor gave it to you when you graduated high school. It burned. You take the book and head to... I like it there. They care about me. I feel like they're preparing me for something. Your mother slouches in the driver's seat, her voice harsh, with a lilt to it that tells you she regrets her tone, even as she speaks. That's because they are... What? What is it? Nothing. You ride home in silence. You should leave, but you walk towards the baptismal, a tub near the back of the stage, tall enough for a person to stand up to the waist in water. Noise from your counter flares like a bonfire in the wind. Your body is wet, dripping. The baptismal robe, soaking wet, hangs like a ballast off your shoulders. A crash, somewhere behind you, somewhere outside. Well, Lori was with us. You pull off your respirator in a panic, suddenly afraid of drowning. You try to focus. Don't scream. Remember why you're here. You keep walking toward the baptism. You know this part. Descent, understanding, ascent, revelation, climax, and falling action. The baptismal has 3 porcelain steps. You walk them, chilly under your bare feet. You never learn to swim, and if anything, this aids the drama of a ritual. The preacher puts one hand on your back, another holding a cloth goes over your face. Geiger counters singing a hymn now. Come thou fount. It's all you can hear. In the name of the Father. No one can be saved without a little drowning first. And the Son. You nearly vomit as Amos' pickup hits a pothole big enough to make the shock scream. The fucker laughs. That's the thing about the apocalypse, he says, still holding court even now. Pop, pop, pop. His knuckles are blistered and bleeding astride the steering wheel. Changed everything around it. Space, time. Used to think it was like a river, you know? The closer you get around ground zero, the more you start to wonder. Maybe it's a funnel or a sieve, gathering up little bits of itself, concentrating them, giving them weight. And the Holy Spirit. The water is so cold, but the sweating won't stop. You don't hear the Giga counter anymore. You don't hear anything. I baptized you. Wet, frigid, cold. Another me. She never told you why she came, and you never told her why you left. There's a lighthouse. There's a light outside the sanctuary window, and she's gone. Another you. Right, too right. Amen. All right, well, that was another LudoNarraCon full game playthrough. If you're interested in playing yourself, I'm not sure exactly what changes depending on what you pick up, what you choose not to pick up. Um, at that crucial moment where you have to choose which items to keep, if that changes anything. But if you want to try it out yourself, the link is going to be in the description. Thank you again, fellow traveler, for all these game keys. I'm having like a blast playing through them and just like seeing the stories unfold and everything like that. But that is going to be it for me. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you very soon for another Little Narracon full playthrough. But thank you. Bye.